My name's Victoria Morris and I'm head teacher here at Elm Park Primary School, which is in Hornchurch in the London Borough of Havering. We first came across Learning by Questions when we went to the BET exhibition in London, and we're always looking for new programmes, things that are potentially able to be used online because we like to use technology. And we saw Learning by Questions and liked the fact that it's questions. Because as a teacher, I think you can use questioning to really get a lot from children. So I really like the idea that this was a specific system that would use questions to help children learn. We decided that we'd like to trial it to see if it was going to be something that we would use. And I could see that it had a lot of potential in lots of different ways, because when you are using questions, you can use it as part of your lesson. You can use it as part of your assessment procedures. So it could be used for pre-assessment, post-assessment. And also I like the idea that it was online, because then you can actually see in real time what the children are getting right, what they're struggling with, and address it immediately, which for us is always what quality first teaching is about. So we decided that we would just use it in 1 year group to begin with. And we had a very enthusiastic teacher who wanted to look at it and use it particularly for maths. And that's how we started. And she came back with lots of good feedback. The children absolutely loved it. Really good engagement. And our ICT technician is somebody who is very tenacious and will not want to spend any kind of money unless she's absolutely sure that the programme that we're going to be using is fit for purpose. I've definitely spoken to lots of my colleagues in terms of head teachers, and I really love LbQ, so will tell them I'm not being paid to say any of this. I really do think that it's a really powerful tool, that it's very supportive because it helps teachers with their workload. For example, the teaching slides are all there. You can teach, you don't have to, wade through lots of other programs to find what you're looking for. The marking is done for you. So I think from that perspective, I keep saying to my colleagues, you really should look at it, because in this time where we're being told to think about staff well-being and workload, it's something that definitely has impacted positively on our staff. I think the thing that I like about LbQ from the perspective of using it with the children is that it's individual to them. So they can see clearly how well they're doing question by question. They can also see very quickly where they're struggling. It's also very clever in that it will stop a child if it's clear that they are not getting question after question correct. And it recognises that actually there's no point in them continuing. And I think the children really enjoy it because it's so visual and they can see how well they're doing. They also pick out, oh, that's something that I wasn't so good at last time. And it encourages them to really focus on that area, because the next time they use LbQ, they want to make sure that they get more marks and that they get green squares instead of perhaps yellow or red ones, which suggests that they're not quite there yet. So it works really well in terms of engaging children in their learning. I would say as a head teacher that trying to balance your budget and make sure that you are getting value for money is harder than it's ever been. So it's really crucial that when we're looking at any kind of programme or equipment that we want to use as a learning resource, that we know that it's going to hit the mark and that it's actually going to benefit children's learning. And I can honestly say, which is why I'm happy to, celebrate LbQ and tell colleagues about it, I know that it does exactly what it says it will do. Our children make much better progress as a result of using Learning by Questions, whether that's inside the lesson or equally outside, because it's useful as a home learning tool as well. So I think it definitely is value for money in terms of the impact that it has. If LbQ was to be taken away, I think I would cry and I think teachers would. And I also think that children would be upset because, as I said, it's impacted positively on teacher workload. It's also made them much more responsive in the way that they're able to teach, which I think is key to quality first teaching. And I just think it's such a great resource that I wouldn't know quite where we would look next for this type of tool, because it's not only a teaching tool, it's an assessment tool, it's a marking feedback tool. So yes, I would be very disappointed if for some reason LbQ was not available tomorrow in our school. I think it saves them time, which empowers them to be creative and think about the way that they're going to use LbQ and other resources. So I think that empowers teachers, and that's why it's a really useful resource. Using LbQ, particularly when we get to the end of Key Stage 2 in Year 6, becomes really integral to making sure that we can very clearly pass on very accurate assessment feedback to our colleagues for secondary school. So they are very clear about what the children are doing well in and actually where their areas are that they need to work on. And we've had feedback that says that that's really helpful.